Coming at you from Scratch and Wolf Studio. It's that time again to rage across the internet. It's your very favorite Werewolf the Apocalypse podcast. As always, I'm your host, Porter. Sitting to my left, the man with so many teeth and no toothbrush, Danosaurus Rex.
Hey, everybody.
To my right, life finds a way. It's Mr. Tommy Dixon.
How's it going, guys?
I am just...
You're in rare form right
I apparently am.
now. I love it. This is going to be fun.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Oh, great.
Warm.
Yeah, it's very, very hot here.
I'm happy about it
I
because it's better than snow.
mean, I suppose that's true, but I would rather... I mean, it can be a little cooler in here.
I agree.
You know how it would be cooler? Is
How's
if we
that?
had a badass guest.
Yeah.
But wait, we do.
Do we?
Yes, we do.
Danny,
Yeah.
who do we got with us today?
Mr. Cason Snow, say hello.
And look, it just got cooler.
The snow.
Hey,
is
Got a
in the
little
house.
snow here.
There got about 6 feet of snow here. And I would disagree completely. Snow beats heat anytime.
All right, then. That's why you live more north than us. Kind
That
of.
is true.
Kind of.
Kind of.
It's like
Kind of.
it's over to the side and a little north.
It's still more north.
Welcome to Geography Hour. Today we're
Today on a
discussing...
very special geography on the internet.
That's right. We're discussing snowfall and teeth. And good show, everybody.
Yeah, all right. See you guys
All right.
next week.
And we're testing a new feature on the board. We have Cason through phone call.
Yeah. This man
That's
is amazing.
right.
How weird.
I have his phone number.
He has dreamt his ideal war form, and it's come out an iPhone.
God.
So he is in studio.
Technically.
Technically in studio.
Okay, it's great to have you back, man.
Hey, it's great to be back.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long time coming, and I think we found a good episode for you here.
Good. I'm excited to get into talking about the details of everyone's favorite were crocodiles, or wereligators, as I like to call them.
Wereligator, I like
Ooh,
it.
I think that's going to be our title.
It might be. We are definitely going to walk the dinosaur today, because we are in fact talking the Mokole, which, interestingly enough, fun fact, is Swedish for chocolate milk.
I did not know that.
It's crazy, right?
The more you know.
Now you do.
Linguistics.
Linguistics.
Yep. Language is a crazy thing.
Oh boy.
I can't hold it.
Oh, this is a good show. Good show. We're off to a good start. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Flawless.
So,
Oh, I love that we have an editor.
I love that he probably won't mess with any of this.
No, he's not going to.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
They're very complicated, but I guess even before we get into that, the last time they were brought up topically on this show was
So
during
guys, how you doing today?
He's trying to cover it up.
Yeah,
Can't cover
you're
this
not
up.
getting away with it. Was I think it was our very first
It was our very first fair
Yeah.
series.
Farah overview.
Yep.
And
Yes, it was.
in that at that time we each took one and talked a little bit about it. So
We
it
took a
was
couple. I mean, I think we had like 6 or 7 that day.
I don't think that's true, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we talked about the Mokole that day.
You talked about it. That was your assignment.
It was, yes.
You guys know how these series have been going. When we did that overview, we did from 20. We took the little blurbs out. Now we're actually doing deeper dives into second edition
Right,
books.
and I know it seems odd why we'd choose second edition, is because it's so far back, but they had a breed book. I went through Changing Breeds 20, like I flipped through it just to cross reference a thing or two out of curiosity,
Sure.
and it's 15 pages on the Mokole.
That's not enough.
15 pages. That's gifts, rights, fetishes, backstory, forms.
13 of those pages are taken by that. So you get 2-3 pages of actual
Anything
grit.
else?
Yeah, of
Right,
anything from it.
and that's why we've chosen to predominantly look at the breed books, because it's the source with the most information, even if that information doesn't jive with the 20th.
Oh, it doesn't. At
Things change sometimes.
I don't want to say at all, but it's different.
The game's been through a lot of revisions, man. It's going to happen.
But I would rather have more outdated information than less current information for the purpose of these episodes.
Yeah, to breathe life into these.
Makes sense.
Ain't nothing stopping a storyteller who doesn't, from going, I like that idea and we're using it.
Or pick the information you want.
But that's why we're doing that. And I assure you that we're going to have a more comprehensive take.
Then I just don't like them.
Then Danny doesn't like it.
I flipped the thing. By a thing, I mean like
a table.
Yes, you did. You had an aggressive opinion on them.
Which is fine. We're going to do better than that. There's going to be more.
What do you think?
Also, we've got Cason here.
I was going to say, Cason, what do you think of the Weresaurians?
In general, like, as their mandate, I like the concept. I like the whole memory of Gaia thing and being able to remember way back in the mist depth of time. I think definitely in the breed book, they were, the hurt Farah. They were done dirty by everyone, and woe is them, because you get a page and a half of the shenanigans that they got up to a while ago. It gets expanded in some Werewolf 20 stuff, which we'll get to, but in my opinion, they got exactly what they deserved.
I like to hear that.
Yes. Someone else, and it's not me flipping a table, but it's a educated point of view.
I like how you worded that.
Yeah, he is so happy to have your back up on.
I'm not a fan. Dinosaurs have always been a cool thing. Fucking Jurassic Park, dude. That's our generation, and it's still. I mean, the movies now are way different, but like that was cool, and I wanted this to be a good thing. And yes, I had the hot take, and I flipped out, and I was fucking mad. And I have more information now, and I'm not just mad, but I'm still a little mad. I'm not a fan.
See, the funny thing about this is I am not a fan of them either, but for different reasons. Like, I don't like dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. I think dinosaurs are kind of lame. And every now and then I'll get some pushback on like, oh, you not like dinosaurs? I'm like, well, if dinosaurs were so fucking cool, how come they're all dead?
Well,
it's a valid point.
I mean, fine, but still.
But no, like, so my problem becomes like I love the idea of Werecrocodiles, of Weregators. There's a rage card of like the deranged Mokole or something it's called. It's an enemy card. And it's just like, what you would assume a Wereligator in Krynos form would look like. Mm-hmm. Yes. Without all the kaiju shit and the dream nonsense.
That's where my problem lays, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. It's for me the whole kaiju dream up your dinosaur, poison sack and wings and flamethrowers and 30 feet tall shit. It's too fantasy for me.
I agree. That's definitely my biggest problem with this.
Well, and it's compounded by the fact that there were so many cool and different crocodile forms. Even back in the dinosaur days, you could have your what is it, like a Purosuchus, this giant 50-foot long crocodile.
Jeez.
How is that not just as cool as your feathery T-Rex?
Right, like how is that not enough?
Agreed.
Right.
To go for a less scientific, for I think, most of like the dumb viewers like me,
who don't know the 700 species of crocodiles and alligators.
No, but you look at Ninja Turtle, like Leatherhead from the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And you go, how is that not enough? That's amazing.
And it makes sense to the form.
Right. But now I'm a Komodo dragon and I turn into Godzilla.
Right.
And I want a refund.
Or if you choose your Komodo dragon who can grow wings, because you can do that if you really want to.
Oh, I can drink a lot of Red Bull too, Danny.
Well, what about the one enemy from Spider-Man?
The lizard?
The lizard.
The lizard?
Not sure. See, but again,
that'd be a good Krynos form,
right? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but like you dream up your.
Oh, I know.
And like to be clear, they dream it up through the Nemesis.
Nemesis?
Yes, through Nemesis. Yep. He's after stars.
That was perfect.
That really was. That's for you, Cason.
You just hear the disgust in his voice.
He's like, Jesus, what did I do? What did I agree to?
Why?
I'll be here all week. Make sure to eat the blueberry tree.
Right? You're like, And I've been on the show before, so you knew this was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You still showed up.
Nemesis.
Nothing but respect. But no, yeah, it's the, it is that they're dreaming, they dream their forms, or they're dreaming through all their ancestors. And it's almost like a Build-A-Bear at that point.
Oh, it's very much.
Like Uncle Ernie had these wings and I want those. And like Grandpa Jed had the horns and I want those. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Stop me.
You dream up your war form and they give you options on options on options of what you can have. And it's like, it's built on a point system. And okay, cool. For different crocodiles and different alligators in different parts of the world, why could this one have like this stuff over here but not? That bothers me.
Well, I think at that point, isn't that really getting into streams? Because at the end of the day, the Mokole, they have that memory, but it only extends through their ancestors,
right?
And so you have those different streams, which is essentially like the different bloodlines.
Yeah, the different tribes. We can equate them to.
We can do that. Yeah.
And that
right.
would make go ahead.
What a GM would, or a storyteller would probably, should do is say, okay, you're from this stream and you have this memory line. So, you can't necessarily throw the pterosaurs in with, a triceratops and a stegosaur all at the same bloodline.
And that to me would make the most sense, but it doesn't stop you.
Right. Correct. You could come up with some terrifying chimera of everything.
Yeah, if you really wanted to. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. Certain streams should only get access to certain characteristics, I guess.
See, I
as you're dreaming up your war form.
I think I would be hip to that, but that's not what happens. And then
it's not what happens.
Then again, the Mokole, they got the Wanderer position, which is it's really a pretty sweet gig.
Or it's the one that ties in between the streams.
Right, because they send the Wanderers out to like share knowledge, like they go to other clutches of Mokole, and they just share the information and they make friends and then they breed. So their job is to wander to different towns
and mate.
Yeah, and tell some stories and then bang a whole bunch.
It's a good gig.
Right? I want that gig.
And does that equate to sharing the Nemesis down those bloodlines too?
Well, and that's why that's done.
Okay.
Is to kind of merge those, because you can only remember what's going on with your ancestry. And so this extends all the memories because they're all about chasing those memories. And I kind of love the idea. Tom, it looks like you got something you want to put in here.
Oh, I just have a good brief overview of the start, so this gets a little less confusing because we're talking streams and stuff like that.
Fields and streams, and yeah, go ahead. We don't want to catfish anybody.
Oh my goodness,
that does not apply. I just wanted.
It kind of does.
It's like bait and switch.
So I got a little blurb here.
Well done.
Jeez, you guys. I got a little blurb. So the Mokole obviously are the oldest. They claim to be the oldest, which it's a good claim.
Yeah,
they're
the
oldest of the changing breeds, and also one of the most unified.
Well, they even said it in the Anunnaki that the Mokole are the oldest of the fairy.
Yeah, even the spiders hand that out to them. So we're just going to assume that's yeah.
Even the spiders give it to them, so we're going to say that's good.
It's not bullshit.
So there are many species of Mokole. You got the monitors, the gavials, the alligators, the crocodiles, and Gila monsters, which I don't know what those are.
Really?
What's a Gila monster?
It's like a lizard.
They're the only venomous lizard in North America.
Well, that's good to know.
They live in the Southwest. The desert's there. They're black and like reddish pink stripes, and yeah, they're venomous. They're only about a foot long, so they're not real big or threatening looking. And they store all their fat in their tail, so they can eat their tail like internally when there's not a lot to eat. They'll live off the fat in their tail.
Well, that's different.
So
also the Mokole who are, they unless they have the huge size trait in their Krynos form, their Krynos is no bigger than a Hamid.
Oh wow.
Because they're so tiny.
Because they're so tiny, yeah.
So they're called the Unkethi, something similar to that.
Similar to that.
So I had a note on that shit. Look at that.
It's good. We got a
Team effort.
team effort, and I told you, professional.
I like that. I did not know that. I was questioning it the whole time I was doing research. What the hell are these? I should have Googled it, but I didn't. I figured I'll leave it for the show.
Hey, there you go.
So thanks on that one, Cason.
No worries.
All right, so and then each Mokole lives by a moment of the sun, which marks the time of their birth in the day or year. Now, ones born at night, these ones follow Luna instead, making this one of the only changing breeds to worship both Helios and Luna. But, complicating things further, the Mokole are further divided into what we were calling streams, which is the 4 great alliances of their kind. And then they complicate it even further with individual clutches, which are the local groups of the area.
So you have tribes.
They have tribes
Slash
and then
streams.
sub-tribes.
And then you have clutches,
which would be
slash
camps, which would be camps.
Well, a clutch is it's like it's not a pack and it's not like a family, but it's like
a community.
Well, it's the Mokole unit. It's if they all came from the same eggs hatched them. You know, like they're interconnected parts of a whole. You know, they again, you could look at it like a sept, but everyone is related.
That's what I'm thinking. You think of it like a camp, kind of, because it would still be part of the tribe, but sub camp, kind of. I don't know. I'm trying to put it in Garu terms.
No,
it's very
exactly.
hard to do.
It is because they are not Garu.
No, not at all.
But I mean, like a clutch, it's the first social unit, and it's Mokole and the kin, and it's anything from 2 to 30. Mokole, and anywhere between a dozen or 100 or so kin, which is aggressively too many of anything.
Yes.
Like, unless it's money, you don't need 100 of anything.
2 to 100.
Which, by the way, if speaking of, if you like what we're doing here and you feel the need to support us, you can do so over at our Ko-Fi.
You can donate anywhere from 2 to 100.
Yeah.
Well, we have tiers on there too, but
you
hear the spiel every week. You know how it works.
Oh, I couldn't not.
I know that was perfect.
So anyway,
but when I was reading in the book, also they group into wallows as well.
See, I didn't see anything about wallows. What's a wallow?
So the Mokole live among humans when they must, but prefer the company of kin and other Wersaurians. They realize this by grouping into wallows. And a wallow can be a traditional village, an apartment building, a remote jungle mud hole, or a high-tech alligator refuge with tourist shows, where the tourists could be dinner.
See, like, that's more akin to a sept.
Right. But they confused me more by going deeper and deeper.
Right,
it's like there's way more ways they're grouping up, which is, it gets very confusing.
It's true. I mean, this is bottom line. You know what's crazy, though? Something that I thought was, because we're talking about, like clutches and birthing and all that, is that they have a magical fertility power called like matre.
What?
Yeah, and like we don't normally talk mechanics because you can change mechanics. Mechanics change over additions.
Yeah,
and it's technical shit, and I think that's boring.
Right.
Like I don't want to sit here and go over the numbers because like who gives a shit? Maybe a lot of people, but I don't. So we're not.
Go get the book.
Right, exactly. You can do that.
Yeah, we're not doing books.
So we don't normally talk about the mechanics, but here's the thing: for each egg or baby that breeds true, the mother gets a permanent dye to add wherever she wants.
Oh, that's cool.
Jesus.
Right? Now, allegedly, a female Mokole mates every year, but only births every 2 or 3. So, like, that's also a lot of blanks being shut off in Mokoland. But
you just reference a blank.
Even Cason's.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
I don't think Cason saw that coming either. Huh?
I did not.
Well, the mother didn't, certainly. But yeah, getting free dots and stats.
That is awesome.
That's pretty crazy.
Oh, you bred true. Where's that one going?
Oh yeah, it's gonna go in my soak.
Yeah, there we go.
Its birth's not gonna be pleasant the next one, so let's put it in soak.
Oh,
I don't know. I've never laid an egg. I'm just assuming. And they kind of don't have metis.
Kind of.
It's a thing. Is like the baby doesn't live.
Yeah, I saw that the baby, quote unquote.
It becomes a terrible monster.
Well, from what I read, it was they all die before birth.
Right, but then their ghost becomes a terrible monster.
The ghost? Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wait, this goes into spirit form? Oh, boy.
Yeah, like the mating, the progeny is like a deformed fetus or a clutch of, quote, horror eggs with monstrous embryos inside. That is a quote.
Jesus.
And they constantly, they're constantly shifting shapes. You know, the mother usually has to shapeshift to avoid being ripped apart by the freakish offspring. And anything that survives the hatching or birth appears in the mother's breed form, but die really quickly after. No child has ever reached maturity. And when it dies, unable to maintain shape, it becomes what's known as an innocent, which is a terrible thing to name it, because these are hungry ghosts that prowl the Shadowlands to the near Umbra without a memory of what they were or should have been.
Wow.
So, like, they're treated as spirits. They have like Gathling level strength, but they can get as far as the upper limits of Jagling's power.
Holy hell!
And they have this whole list of just nasty shit they can do. Like, read the book; it's in there. It's a nice little chart. It's in 22. Like, they can just do all sorts of nasty shit.
That's nasty.
So like, there's evil were-dragon fetus monsters that are wandering the Umbra looking to fuck you up. You're welcome, everybody.
Wow.
Right. And not just, like Meta's recent, furry, hairy breeds of, the wolves and the bears and whatnot. If you believe all of their stories, they've been around since at least 120 million years. So it's not just there's, 16 of these innocents running around. There could be
millions,
a lot of them.
That's scary to think about.
Yeah, for how many eggs get hatched? Even if it's a small percentage of those eggs that do get hatched over that amount of time.
Yeah, like, let's say it's 1 every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's still, it's more than 100. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's more than we can count.
It's more than between 2 and 100.
Holy hell. All right. That got a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I found there's some neat shit in here.
Yeah, there is. I mean, did you know they all speak the dragon's tongue?
Well, I mean, that would make sense.
Most of them have dragon's breath.
Oh.
Because, as we've learned, cinema has taught us that crocodiles are mad because they have all them teeth and no toothbrush.
The medulla. And you were talking about how they all share Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Which is their memories that are inherited from the ancestors, which connect them to the distant past when dinosaurs walked the earth.
I mean, it connects them to all the memories, but yeah, as memories that go even that far back.
But then they complain about they've lost a lot of those memories because of the War of Rage.
Yeah, it's the War of Rage's fault your memory sucks. What? Who said that? Cason, how
Never mind you guys actively screwing with your memories, too.
That's
right.
I was going to say.
We'll get there.
Or we could start. Could you start it now?
All right, we'll start it now.
Take that.
Do you want me to talk about the Dragon Kings or the Netics?
Where do you want to start?
Well, I guess we'll start at the beginning.
All right.
With, as it quotes from the book, call them the Lizard Kings, the Dinosaur Kings, the Reptile Kings, the Dragon Kings.
Well, what does Jim Morrison have to do with this?
Well, it's going to get trippy, so just hold on.
That was perfect.
Perfect. Yes.
Ta-da,
Continue.
flawless.
5 stars.
Okay, so this is where I wander outside of the breed book a little bit, because the breed book gives me all of a page and a half
Yeah, there wasn't much.
on the Dragon Kings. So, like it or not, Shattered Dreams actually has a little more, from Werewolf 20, has a little more on the Dragon King. So we'll wander back and forth between those two books for those reading along at home. So in the Mesozoic, which is the age of the dinosaurs, 120 million to 65 million years ago, Gaia decided to create her very first shifters. Those would be the Anunnaki, the Rokea, the Naga, and the Mokole.
Well, according to Anunnaki, it was in order Mokole, Rokea, Anunnaki.
Okay. The Naga would be in there as well, timeline-wise. We won't worry about
What
real
about the
rigorous,
semantics on
Yeah,
this?
that's
too long
real
ago.
rigorous research here.
It's only because Anunnaki was
snakes, dinosaurs, same thing.
Right.
It was 2 weeks ago when this airs, so
So she grants dinosaurs the abilities to change shapes. And they can take on 3 forms. They can take on the form of camouflage, which is their animal form. They can take on their form of war, which is their kaiju form. And then they're given the form of manipulation, which is this bipedal, opposable thumbs, binocular vision, dinosaur men. Like,
So
literal dinosaur men.
I would say, like, I think about the lizard from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Like, that's what you want to visualize.
Okay.
Right.
Just
so
a quick visual reference.
They call that form the Draken form. Now, everyone got this manipulatory form. They're all tied to the triad as well. So your wild form is your animal form, your worm or destroyer form is your war form, and the form of the weaver is this bipedal form, which the Mokole call the Draken. All of the shifters get it at the time. The Anunnaki aren't enamored of it because it's soft and squishy, and we like to be all creepy, spidery. The Rokea didn't like it because it was also kind of soft and squishy and not nearly as efficient as a swimmer and all that kind of. So they didn't really utilize it much, but the Mokole did. They thought it was great because they could, perform fine manipulation that like the little dinosaur arms aren't good at. They could also meet and talk to other Mokole on equal terms. You didn't have to worry about trying to talk in your animal forms to each other. The other big benefit to the Draken form was that, and this is pulling from Shattered Dreams, the Nemesis was originally not just memories. It was an actual realm sandwiched between the physical realm and the Umbra. And it was this realm of ideas, and you had to step through it to get to the Umbra. When you stepped into it, anything you were thinking about manifested.
Holy hell.
Well, that sounds way cooler.
A little bit, yeah.
It got really busy, and so a lot of the Mokole trained their minds to be really focused on a specific thing when they stepped over, so only that thing manifested. Most of the other Pharaoh were just just blank my mind so I can get the hell to the Umbra and not play around with all of this crazy nonsense. Because the impression I get is that the Nemesis realm is only for the Mokole. It's not really for anyone else to play with.
Yeah, it would have some bad implications of others going there, not being able to focus like the Mokole would be, and just be, I don't want to call it the Wild West, but it would just be chaos.
Right. So, over time, with this Draken form, the Mokole realized that the Draken form is interfertile with itself. So, if you're a T-Rex Mokole, you can mate in Draken form with any other Mokole or any other Drakid. So when the dinosaurs have clutches of eggs, some hatch as dinosaurs, some hatch as Drakids. So you have these dragon men, bipedal men, that don't ever become Mokole. The Mokole see them and they're like, oh, well, we will help them. And they will exist at our sufferance and be able to live under our benevolent rule. Because by this time, the Mokole have realized that if we dream something up in Nemesis and we rip a spirit out of the Umbra and trap it in this Nemesis object and bring it into the physical world, it has a physical form. So anything they can dream up and stick a spirit into becomes real, becomes physical.
Making dreams
in
come
the physical
true.
world.
So is that
and
the
your
reason?
Dreams come true.
So that's the reason they come up with the idea of being able to dream up your war form then? And anyone can dream up anything? And
Probably.
I mean, okay. I mean, at least now there's a reasoning for it.
Right. So everything carries on for a while, and there's this idyllic time in the Jurassic period where everyone lives in harmony, and the Mokole are these benevolent god kings that create stuff from nothing.
Allegedly.
And the Drakid are more than happy to be their servants.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And then comes the Cretaceous period where kingdoms start being built and Mokole start gathering armies and building empires and competing with each other, and you now get a Nemesis-fueled arms race between them.
And if I may, Cason, this is around the same time that, in a different age, in a less civilized age, if we want to call it that, something a little more unrefined or
maybe savage.
Where where these guys, these mad lads, these benevolent dictators start enslaving folks and giving the gift of death to races they feel are inferior.
Yes.
And then like the Cliff's Notes on that?
Sure. Well, I'll give you the short version. The Mokole really like to hide the crimes they commit behind beautiful little euphemisms like the innocent. They, as they go through the entire Mesozoic, they feel they're the most gifted of Gaia, and it's their job to keep all these little hairy rat things in their place. And so they embark on something that they call the kindness. This is a term we've come up with for Savage Age, and it's quite literally genocide on a multi-species level.
It's super rad.
Any other new pharaoh that come along, they wipe out not just the pharaoh, but that entire species.
The kindness.
The kindness.
What the fuck?
They were very kind in how they did it.
So,
yeah.
The merciful.
So, like they didn't have to have the burden of not being Mokole anymore.
Wow.
Right. And Gaia, they feel that Gaia and Helios put them in charge. And Helios, in my interpretation at least, is all about kingship and order and...
2 scoops.
Right.
Can't forget about those raisins.
God kings and blood cults and all of that stuff.
I love how he didn't miss a
So
beat.
it only makes sense that the Mokole eventually, drink their own Kool-Aid and buy into the whole idea that they are the God ruler.
Well, and term like the kindness.
Oh, I love it. We were not. We were talking about this. I wasn't gonna let it go.
Oh my god.
That's a good name.
Right.
Right. So this all comes to a head towards the end of the Cretaceous period, where the kings are all waging wars against each other in their various kingdoms, sacrificing millions of these Drakid in various battles, winning Pyrrhic victories left and right, until a couple of empires become more equal than others, and a losing one decides that if, this is my interpretation on it, that if we can't win, then no one's going to win. And it's possibly them and a couple other nations get together in a instance of convergent Nemesis evolution, and they decide to drop a giant rock on the planet. And that, as we all know, is the Chicxulub impact, and that goes really well for the dinosaurs and the Mokole.
Do they blame Rorg for that?
Actually, no, they don't, because at this point, when they create the impactor and it hits, there's been so much destruction and so much twisting and warping of the Nemesis realm that it all collapses. It all falls apart. Everything that's been ever created with Nemesis, whether it's powered by spirits or not, dissolves away. Living things, objects, structures, whatever. And so this is an easy way to say, well, obviously there's no remains of these hyper-advanced civilizations because it all just dissolved away when the Gauntlet rose. And the collapse of the Nemesis realm is the formation of the Gauntlet.
Allegedly.
So would this be considered the first apocalypse of the time? Because these guys state that there was many apocalypses.
This is, once again, playing into the whole, the Mokole love a good euphemism. They call it the wonder work.
Yes.
And their Nemesis workers were wonder workers. So yes, this wonder work has happened.
When we fucked off the planet.
Right.
Kindness and wonder work.
Right. Just watching the program Dinosaur Apocalypse, it's all sorts of new information that's come out about the actual day of the impact. They found some remains in North Dakota. So the impact happened in Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula. It created an earthquake so severe that if you were standing in North Dakota, if a person was standing there, their thigh bones would be driven up into their torso. It was a 12 magnitude earthquake. Like, you wouldn't be shaking, it would just all of a sudden, that's it, you're dead. Because of the violence of the shaking.
Well, maybe you. I could soak it.
Right. If the superheated rock didn't light you on fire first, or you didn't succumb to the 500-degree air temperature.
Master of fire, nerd. Get it together.
And jump.
Right.
Just
Hair
jump.
sleep.
You know, while we're on it, my totem's owl, so I'll just be fucked. I'll be in the clouds anyhow, flying around, making fun of you guys.
You see that? You see the tremors coming? Just jump.
It's worked for Kevin Bacon.
Oh my god. It's going to be one of those episodes.
Yes, it is.
So yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Man, life finds a way.
They do the wonder work. It happens. And the Mokole are actually still kind of bitter about it because in the whole unreliable narrator, paradigm that the Braid book is, the one they wake up says that this was the world as it should be. No mammals, no pollen to make us sneeze, no dogmen, just us and our kin forever and ever.
Yeah.
So they're, they're still fairly bitter about this whole thing not really working to plan.
Can't imagine.
Well, something I like, and this feels weird to say. No, something I appreciate is, you go to modern day and how they seek out lost memories. And they hop through and they get to the Deep Umber, and there's a decent amount in the Deep Umber that they talk about in the book, which is not for today because that's going to be an Umber episode, right? Mm-hmm. But I like how they're trying to hunt down these memories, and I like the fact that they're not always super reliable, and I like that there are factors out there that be it the worm or offshoots or even fallen Mokole who seek to damage or corrupt the Nemesis. And
this
go ahead.
This actually started back in the time of the Dragon King, is that some of the Mokole perhaps felt bad about committing ecocide. And in order to do this, in order to make them feel better, they would go in and they would change the memories in their mimetic line.
Yes.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. This is the thing. And again, if you have met me, if you've listened to this show, mm-hmm. You know how I feel about the idea of secret knowledge, about hidden knowledge. You know how I feel about the Savage Age and integrating it into Apocalypse.
Right.
Is the idea that the Savage Age shit happened. It's I push that it should be treated as canon alongside these rumors, these lies mm-hmm. that exist about the War of Rage. In that whole era where it's all the Garu's fault and this and that, and someone is hiding. There's this big cover up, and then we look at the Mokole and we look at the tampering with the Nemesis and the shady shit they were up to. And I'm not saying, but like there's plenty of through lines there to connect those and make this what is the big secret? What is the big secret that's so fucking terrible that we have to hide the past that is the Savage Age behind the wall of the company line of the War of Rage?
And the secret is so terrible that they've only ever told one other breed of pharaoh. And I'll let you take a guess as to which one it is, but it's the Were saber-toothed tigers.
Neat.
They told the Kara their secret. And it just leaked out that, some humans figured out what the Kara's weaknesses were. And now the Kara are all gone.
How about that?
Oh, look at that.
And the more we talk about it, the more I posit that perhaps the Mokole are the secret villains of the World of Darkness.
All right. Things just got a little bit more interesting.
I would not disagree with that.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan of the Were Saurians here, but a lot of it is the dreaming up of the war form and your 100,000 different possibilities of what you could look like, even though you could be from the same clutch as your brother there and you're different than what he is. But that all aside, the Nemesis or the Nemesis or Nemesis, but this possibility here, obviously we don't know, but it very well could be making them the secret villains of the World of Darkness.
Yeah, and I'll factor this in too, right? because they have like their sleep of dragons and the gift of dragon sleepitis, or it's in a note that I don't want to pick up. My pages are all over here. But where they can, it's kind of like the girls' hibernation, where they can fuck off and go to sleep and be fine. They can Rip Van Winkle their way through the ages, and it's not like 20 years. It's like 200 years.
I was going to say, it's got to be a few hundred.
Yeah, and I mean, they're a Mokole. I mean, they can effectively become immortal in a sense that way. There's a whole, it's more like a society than a camp, called the Nomads of Time, who do exactly this. And I mean, there's some that are thousands, in their thousands. It says there's no Mokole is over 2,000 years old, but oh geez, So you've got someone who's like 1,700.
Holy hell!
And so like imagine that they're just biding their time to get quote revenge, but revenge is like how dare all of you exist? Because like Cason just said, the way things should be, it should be just us and fuck everybody else.
Right, and perhaps one of the more telling things is that there are certain memories of the Nemesis that they cannot access. And one of them is the Wonder Work, is this, extinction level event that they probably caused. And my guess is that
allegedly,
not the Netics, which are the worm-fallen Mokole, which just play with memories left and right, but the Gaian Mokole were like, this was so horrible, let's just edit this out. Let's just forget this ever happened, lock it all away, so that we don't remember. So, being charitable so that we don't remember how to do it. Or we just lock it away so no one can ever winkle that secret out of us.
Right. Yeah, maybe there is just a couple through lines, some streams. Correct. Mm-hmm. That are hidden, that know the truth, and they have gone out of their way to erase that knowledge from all the others because they don't have the proper vision. They couldn't understand the greatness of what we must do. They would try to stop us because they're weak of mind, so we will remove the difficult knowledge from their mind.
I don't know if it would be.
It's
streams,
generosity.
Though. I don't know if it would be streams. Maybe clutches.
Maybe. Well, there's a lot of structure here.
I know,
all right,
let's just thinking because again, you get the tribes.
But see, clutches. I don't know. Either way, my point is, however you want to.
I'm just thinking because
undercut my shit, man. The point is that there's like an elite few. Clutches, streams, fields, doesn't matter.
I'm just thinking because these streams are like the elements. You get the stream of water, air, fire, earth,
heart.
So yeah, then there you go. Maybe it's the stream of heart. And with their powers combined,
Captain Planet.
So the other thing that just kind of came to me is that
my point to hell. Go ahead, Cason.
Perhaps not the direct knowledge that the Mokole caused this, but that their involvement in it would be remembered by another pharaoh that was there at the time, and that they are functionally immortal. So they have people that they have members that didn't necessarily live at that time, but are, only maybe 4 generations removed. And you're telling these stories down through your super long generations, and the Rokea could possibly remember this.
I mean, that's true. And it's funny you
because
bring...
who survived in the water? Not the plesiosaurs, which were mentioned as Mokole. Not the pterosaurs of the air. All of those died. So the only thing in the water that survived, as far as Farah go, were the Rokea.
That's some big implications and serious possibilities.
Well, actually, we talk about something I think it might be a good time to bring up too. Is it the breed book mentions that some Naga have access to Nemesis.
Really?
Not like a lot, but some, yeah. Interestingly, though, the Mokole believe all the Naga to be dead.
Which, of course they do.
Yeah, they think the rumors of Naga or sightings are just other types of Mokole. So what we take from this, I mean, obviously, other than the fact that the Naga might have information if we go on this, this tinfoil headcanon journey.
Right.
But also that the Mokole don't believe in snakes.
Just flat out.
Well, they don't. They think Naga are just Mokole, so they don't believe in snakes.
Yeah, they're just another Mokole.
Snakes don't exist. So they're just Mokole.
All right then. That's one way to twist that.
It's amusing to me, so that's what I'm saying. That's canon. That's in the book.
You can build a fake Naga using all of the Arcade form.
Yeah, all your options, your little shopping list of traits.
Yeah.
Lego bit,
Perfect.
It's your Build-A-Bear.
Your Dino Lego parts.
It's incredibly expensive, but yes, it can be done. So yes, they could very easily say, oh, well, all the Naga are gone, and they wouldn't have access to Nemesis because they're just legless lizards.
Therefore,
they don't exist.
They don't believe in snakes.
Yeah. They're just more Mokole.
That's right.
It's hard to argue.
Logic is pretty sound there.
And just wait till the secret comes out, of either the kindness or the wonder work, and the Naga being the judges of Gaia. I think they might have something to say about this.
That'd be a fun day. Versus snakes versus kaiju.
Oh, jeez. I wonder who would win.
They're just running up Godzilla like a bunch of leeches. Not Dracula's, but like actual leeches.
Yeah. Wow.
How many bites does it take to poison a Godzilla?
1. 2.
Looks like this is a wonder work right now. Jesus.
Well, it's cool. Also in the breed book, though, is they have in the first chapter a lexicon on all these like wonderwork and just all their names. There's a lexicon in there that tells you a brief, quick description of what that name means.
That shit is important.
Very.
But it's not really about the situation. There was something that I noticed in there that I absolutely loved. So I don't think you guys know this, Danny and Tom.
Probably not.
Is that in early Werewolf, we're talking first edition, and I believe a chunk of second, is the Farah, like the changing breeds weren't called the Farah. They were called the Betay.
I did not know this.
Did not know this.
And it's like, I loved that term. I liked it better. So when they changed it to Farah, I always wondered why they made the change, because I think Betay sounds cooler than Farah. I think that the sound of that word is more fierce. It's more guttural, than Farah. I think that's a weaker sounding word, and let's make these things sound strong and awesome. Betay, that term has been, it's been held as the term the Mokole use for other changers. Like that's as of 20. So like, I think it's cool that they kept that term alive. Okay. They just moved it. Like, I don't know why they changed it to Farah. Doesn't matter, but I think it's cool that they kept it around, at least in some respect. Like, I'm giving credit there.
Oh, I like that. Had no idea. That's awesome. Yeah.
No, I
shouldn't have changed it. The taste sounds way better.
It does make some sense, like, it's the Mokole, a lot of or the Mokele and Bembe, come from Africa, and like West Africa is where there's a lot of French, the old French colonies, and Betay is French for beast or stupid person.
That is probably because they don't want any stupid people to get offended. That's probably why.
Right. So they would retain it as their term for beast. And a little double meaning there, Beast is the other Farah, but they're also just dumb beasts.
Yeah.
Compared to us.
Yeah, no, that's nail in the head. That's perfect. That makes all the sense there is.
Yep.
See, the more you know, thank you. See, look at this. We got an expert here. Look at that.
Come sit upon the couch of useless knowledge.
Well, it's not useless.
Not useless. That was perfect.
Right? Yeah.
I'm
going to get a lot of use out of that.
You're like, he's our Google right now.
Right? Hey, check French military victories.
No results found. Sorry.
Oh, he knows that one.
That's a fun callback to before the show.
Wow. Holy hell.
Well, that was a brief overview of their history, I guess.
Jesus.
And then, we had the Dragon Kings in there too, so it was still good. But for, like, I guess current, because you have the different streams.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have the stream of fire. That was like the Gumagon. Am I saying any of these right here, Cason?
No, the Gabagool.
The Gumagon from Australia.
The stream of the Forerunners. These are the ancient Mokole of Australia and Oceania. They're now few in number. They are more adept than others at entering the Umbra and at deep Nemesis voyaging. They are the Aborigines and Melanesians in their Hobbin forms, and the saltwater crocodiles or parenti monitors in their suchid forms.
They were also like cousins and allied with the Bunyip.
That makes sense.
They would even harbor some of the Bunyip, trying to save them while they're being,
the war tears.
The war tears.
There you go. I
couldn't think of it.
So that would be. I see something neat there. Like the useful in terms of a plot line is to deal with Mokole, who are maybe a little pissed still about the war tears, or maybe someone who woke up, took himself a little nap. He woke up and he says, "Where's all my Bunyip brothers? Where's my homeboys? Let's toss some boomerangs around and punch some koalas."
Punch some koalas.
And then Mick is like, "Oh, mate, I see you play Knifey Spoony, but they're all dead.
Knifey Spoony.
The town's killed them. So fuck. Here's a Foster's. I don't know what.
Here's a Foster's. Nice."
Moving on, I guess.
No, that's a real.
I know, it's
because
funny,
the idea. But it's a real thing.
Yeah.
That idea of him waking up and finding out that he had, they had this close relationship with the Bunyip, and now the Bunyip are all fucked off, and now what's he gonna do? So you get a situation where you have fucking Kaiju Mokole, man, like ravaging cairns or threatening to Vale like crazy because he's rampaging because he's pissed, and also there's all these humans and shit and settlements in here now.
Well, and the Garou are there now.
Right.
The Dingoes are Red Talons running amok, where he fought to keep them out of Australia during the War of Tears.
Exactly. So, imagine that. You wake up and find out not only, the little conflict that started turned into a war, and that war led to genocide, Jesus. And also a overpopulation of humans in Garou who killed off, or whose ancestors killed off all your buddies, are now thriving in this area.
Time to rage.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That you can make story or stories or chronicle out of that.
Oh, yeah, very easily. There's a lot to that one.
So, please continue, but this is what we do here, right?
Yeah. So the next one would be the Makara, which I know, Tom, you got something, but I had to say this because this is so fucking dumb. So they called them.
They're dumb.
They were the stream of air.
The stream of the folk.
Yeah, also stream of folk, but a stream of air. But they also call them the water monsters of India.
Okay.
Why are they air and water?
Why are you air and water?
You are air and water.
I'm an air and water. But yeah, go ahead, Tom. I just had to say it because dumb.
Another hot take from Danny.
Fucking, he's air and salt water.
These also, the Makara, these are the complex patchwork of Mokole lineage and clutches native to the Indian subcontinent. They are skillful at negotiating the turbulent waters of Indian politics, religion, and mysticism. These are natives in their human forms, and their sutured forms are gavials, mugger crocodiles, and saltwater crocodiles. Never heard of a mugger crocodile.
There are several.
Yeah, I am certain Cason could tell us the difference.
He's the one coming up saying, "I want your shoes." They're made of crocodile skin.
They're slightly smaller than saltwater crocodiles. I think they're between 8 and 10 feet long, and they live in the rivers of India and Bangladesh.
I don't know how or why you know that.
The Makara are the stream of air. It is the monsoon. So the seasonal rains that come to India are carried on the wind, and it's caused by the Tibetan plateau heats up and gets so hot in the summer that it creates this giant vacuum that pulls in all the moist air from the Indian Ocean and creates the storms that are the monsoon. And then in the winter, that cools all off, and the monsoon comes in from the other direction, from the west. And it's so powerful that a major current in the Indian Ocean actually changes direction twice a year based on the comings and goings of the monsoon.
So he just
it is the
he totally
but
air
in a really good
and the
way.
Storm.
No, I get it. You're right.
Yep.
And I'm an asshole. I see it.
You actually hit him so hard, he's actually starting to cry.
That's just sweat. But no, yeah, you actually so hard. I'm impressed.
And it mates up really nice with the Zhonglong of East Asia, because they're the storm controlling dragons of East Asia as well, and there's a lot of cultural interchange between East Asia and India
but we are specifically not talking about them today because that's the Hengi Yokai show.
Yeah. Well, we can just say that Zonglun were the stream of water, but they are
The shifting beast of the east.
They are the shifting beasts of the east, yes.
I got a bit on them.
Well,
On the Zhonglun.
Yeah, but
It's the fourth stream. I mean, we have to at least give them a little bit.
just a little. I mean,
I
there's
just
oh
have
my
a
God.
little bit. Jeez,
yeah,
God,
don't
baby,
go too
jeez.
much because, again, we are saving it for Hengeyokai.
I get it. Hengyokai.
That's what I said.
They are the stream of the philosophers. These are the scholars and teachers of the dragon breed, the stream least harmed by the ravages of the Garu. They are the Mokole of the Middle Kingdom, including China, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, and surrounding areas. They have great learning and share it with the other shapeshifters of the East, the Hengyokai. What?
No.
That's why we said we weren't going to talk about it.
Yeah, right?
I had a little blurb I wanted
Yeah,
to
well,
say.
I had
very
a little
important.
blurb too, but like
So
we weren't.
say it.
No, we weren't going
we'll
to.
deeper dive it, obviously, in the Hengyokai.
But then we skipped the third stream there.
Yes.
Went right to the fourth.
The Mokole Membe.
Yes.
These guys.
You know what? I'm just going to ask, Cason, why do they call themselves the Mokole Membre?
Okay, so I don't know which tribe's language it comes from, but Mokele Mbembe is this cryptid that lives in, I think it's the Congo River Basin, and it looks potentially like a brontosaur, or an apatosaur as they're now known. So I'm sure back in the 90s, when they were doing, let's say, research for these breed books, they saw, ooh, there's this dinosaur thing that lives in Africa, and it's called the Mokele Mbembe. So let's just use that.
Honestly, that's good enough for me.
Like, yeah, fine.
And it's probably where just the Mokole name came from as well.
Most likely,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
I mean, and they are the stream of Earth.
The stream of the fighters, yeah. So
Which-
that makes sense on it being the first Mokole, like the Mokole one.
You know, it's funny though when we look at these things, because you look at it through the two lenses, right? It's the meta lens of these, or look at these, the guys from, you know, like from Chicago getting together and making a fucking game, right?
Sure.
In the early 90s, while we're at it. So they're hanging out with Dewey Decimal. They're not going online to look shit up.
Right.
So
Card catalog.
yeah, so your reference for information is like way more limited than it would be today or 20 years ago.
Sure.
So I think that's a factor too. But then we go like something like the Bate, right? And in game, you know, like we say, like Cason just schooled us, you know, about the roots of the word Bate and all that. But like it's the Mokole didn't use that because it's like they speak a lot of French in this region, and that were because they were there first
Right.
in game.
I see what you're saying.
So it's the disconnect between the meta behind it and how it happened in game. You know what I mean?
Well, and just the overall word salad that is the world of darkness.
Right.
Oh, I like that word salad.
You know, it makes me weep at times, to be quite honest. But I also understand them not wanting to sit down and create 12 languages, you know, for all the different pharaohs, so we can have all these unique, internally consistent words that, you know, have stood the test of time for 120 million years and have never ever changed.
No, exactly. And, you know, it in the world of darkness, it makes perfect sense that the word Bate would have come not from the French, but from the Mokole, who had been using it, you know, and it was picked up by humanity and not the other way around.
No,
Yeah.
I see the reasoning and I like it. Did you have a little something blurb on your Mokole Membre? I'm not even saying it correctly. It's fine. It's fine.
Do I have a blurb? Yes. They were the largest, they still are, the largest and best known stream. They are the stream famous for their deeds and sufferings in the War of Rage. They are the Mokole of Africa and the Americas, who are Native Americans and Africans in their Hamid forms, and crocodiles, alligators, caimans, or even Gila monsters in their Suchid forms.
The Africans ones they're teamed up, I guess, with the Handi.
Yeah, I mean that.
That makes complete sense.
That's cool, yeah.
That is awesome.
Now I want to jump back for a second. Because I said so.
Because we script a thing.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't.
No, something I appreciate is I want to go back to the auspices.
Okay.
Something I thought was really cool about them, and I don't want to get into like the individuals because that's
A lot.
right. And again, it's not a book report.
Because of the phase of the sun and everything.
Right, it's not a book report, but something that they do that I thought was pretty neat is that not only does it dictate the willpower stat wise, but also each auspice offers a benefit, which is something I could totally get behind if they wanted to use that concept and expand upon it for other auspices in future editions of a game.
Wink, wink, hint, hint.
I mean, there's going to be some. We all know there's going to be some pretty. I will use substantial. I'll use the word substantial.
That's true.
Changes come Werewolf 5. And, I am always quick to offer criticism because, again, not to be an asshole, but because I love the thing.
Sure.
And I'll say this now. I'll probably say it a few more times, but I know I've said it at Discord. It's like, I love this game. This game is important to me. This game is important to a lot of people. And, I've been part of that. I'm part of that community for pretty much since Jump Street. And I remember how it felt when the World of Darkness shut down and when White Wolf went away. And here I was carrying the corpse of this game on my shoulder for years, bringing new people in and all this. And so Werewolf 20 comes along and that was amazing. And now Werewolf 5 is happening and I'm concerned because I want the best for it. I don't want that game to fail because I don't want to have to carry the corpse of this game around for another 10, 15 years before someone tries again, if they do. I want it to thrive all by itself. So that's why I'm critical. I give that much of a shit. But that said, so I'm very quick to criticize. That said, in the interest of fairness, well, what would you do? What do you think? Something like that. The idea of having an auspice. And we ship this to a Garu lens now because fuck it, I've decided to for a couple minutes.
It's fine.
To have something like an Ahraun get a bonus to melee attacks or claw related attacks under a full moon because of his auspice.
Okay.
I like that.
Something that makes other than just the gifts. The mechanic
right,
gifts.
You could play on or draw in more information from the Book of Auspices as well and have possible benefits for waxing and waning of the auspices that do have waxing and waning aspects. Either it's fixed, and if you're a waning crescent, that's your bonus, or you get the bonus at waxing crescent when it's the waxing moon, and you get the waning bonus when it's the waning moon.
You could twist that another way and have negative effects when it's the waxing.
You could.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to go, too. I would just do bonuses, personally.
Sure.
Because
the negative could be minor, but just something.
Something.
You could.
But, I'm looking through the auspices.
That breathes some more life into it.
No, you're right.
Which is great.
I think the same thing should be true of Tribe.
Yeah.
If Fenris is your pack totem, you get certain benefits because he's your pack totem. The fuck does he do for the Tribe? Shouldn't, I would put maybe minor stat shifts or something for tribes, and I'm just
for a free specialty or something.
Right. And I'm just spitballing, but maybe the children of Gaia get one less strength, but one more empathy and one more wits or something.
Okay.
I mean, you run the danger of people min-maxing and that's not super fun, but as a concept, as a raw idea. I haven't spent time on this.
Right.
I would definitely go with the auspice bonuses because you see it in other games that White Wolf has published as well. Like, for example, Exalted. They all of your subgroups have specific bonuses. So your Arun can look and feel different than your Theurge, rather than just it's a word on a sheet of paper.
No, that sounds good, and that's exactly it. And we get that in, we see it in the Mokole book.
Yep.
They do it there.
So iterative evolution. They thought this was a good idea, but, I guess it really didn't go anywhere beyond that either.
Right. And I think it definitely should have. And again, if you're looking, this is something you should do with the auspices. It doesn't have to be something groundbreaking per se, but, this is the gift that Luna has given to the crescent moons. This is the gift that she's given to the full moons.
It's a solid idea.
And they want to change things. There's a change. It's a change that doesn't upset the lore. It doesn't contradict anything. It adds, it doesn't subtract.
I really like this idea. I want to run with it some more, but...
Right,
But we're not creating the book.
Exactly.
Well, you guys know where to find us. Rage Across...
Podcast at gmail.com.
Right?
We'll give you our resumes.
I like that happened.
So going with the auspices then, because the Mokole go off the sun rather than the moon.
Right, they're children of Helios.
Children of Helios. So, you have the rising sun. And I guess, Tom, I'll say them off. And you want to do a little blurb again? Or
You keep going, bud.
all right, fine. Rising sun, or striking. Those born between the reddening of the eastern sky. The soldiers, hunters, explorers, seekers, and doers. Or you have those born on noonday sun, or the unshading, where the sun is highest in the sky. Your police, judges, your enforcers. You have the setting sun, or warding. You have guards, nurses, healers, caretakers of children. The shrouded sun, or concealing. The sun when it's cloudy in the sky, I guess.
That's about right.
Yeah, it's just clouded sun, yeah.
Oh boy.
You have the mystics, the teachers of spirit lore, and the knowers of secrets.
These are your secret keepers.
You have the midnight sun, or shining. Mokole born during the dark sky.
My favorite ones.
Go ahead, say it.
To the Ragabash, yeah.
They are the
essentially.
they are the
He's the
Ragabash.
Ragabash.
These guys are the clowns, the poets, and the doers of the impossible.
I'm sorry, the clowns?
Clowns.
Yep.
We have clown gators now?
We have clown gators. Get on
So-
your big shoes.
I was gonna say, so like you're putting your character together, and you're like, I want a tail and some wings, and the rainbow afro wig,
Yes.
and the red nose, and a poison sack.
Poisons. There are also guides of dead, tricksters, and myth makers. Nice.
I'm glad I got that down before you started singing.
And then
Aren't you the Gatorators?
but there's two extra, I guess you want to call it extra, right? They're a little bit more special,
Little bonus.
a little special. So you have the decorated sun, or gathering.
So everyone puts a hat on. Oh, the sunglasses.
Yeah.
This is the Mokole born while the sun was accompanied by sundogs, which were like the rays or flares of light surrounding the sun's huge face.
I think that's just what he called his two scoops.
Probably.
Cason?
Sundogs are atmospheric. What they're talking about are all sorts of atmospheric weird things that happen with the sun. So if
Damn
there's
it.
ice crystals in the atmosphere, you're going to get sundogs, which it looks like a little chunk of rainbow to either side of the sun, and even above the sun if there's enough ice crystals in.
So
there's
not not the two scoops.
No two scoops for you.
no two scoops.
Damn it.
Look, but these guys were the organizers and coordinators. And then you had the ones born during the solar eclipse, and those were crowning. But at the same time, you also have several different eclipses.
Nope.
Wow, they've spread that out even further. I just thought it was the ones under the eclipses were just the priests and the rulers.
I mean, essentially, yes, but you have the total eclipse, which were like priest kings. Partial eclipse were warrior kings. Your annual eclipse were the unity kings. The lunar eclipse, backwards rascal kings.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Ragabash kings.
Yeah, again, go back to the
The
regular.
clown kings.
I'm just so sad that Cason left me hanging on the two scoops thing.
And you actually do.
I know.
I loved it.
Fantastic.
Good job, Cason.
You're welcome. So
Trying to make a goddamn Raisin Bran joke.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Get on it, Raisin Bran.
I don't want to be sponsored by Raisin
It'd
Bran.
be Kellogg's, actually, but
Whatever.
actually.
Take a sponsor anywhere we can get it.
Man.
So the interesting thing with the crowning is that the moon crown would be by far the most common.
Right.
But if you're sort of following along, it has to be in the sky while you're being born. So the lunar eclipses cover a much larger area of the Earth than solar eclipses do. Solar eclipses are really narrowly defined, so there's not going to be many of those running around.
I don't know, 120 million years. You never know.
Right.
It's all relative.
Yeah, time is relative.
Now, you mentioned children earlier.
Sure.
Yeah, and I feel like it's important to bring this up.
Okay. Hit us with some knowledge.
For the children.
For the children. Hit us with some knowledge.
Yes. Is that, there is a throwaway little Pentec subsidiary called the Tigers Group, who has a show on Omni TV, which is a somewhat less throwaway Pentec subsidiary. And they have a little show with Purple Dinosaur.
This is legit.
This is legit.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
Barney is actually Deep Purple Dark, a no-sun Mokole raised in a Louisiana gator farm. His search for power led him to the atrocity realm, where he operates a torture pit. Child spirits are lured into the realm, where they are tortured, burned, and eventually eaten by the devil dinosaur.
What in the hell?
I absolutely love that they tied Barney into this.
It's in the notable section, the notable character section. It's the shit that we pass by, and it just caught me like, did that say Barney? I went back up, fuck yeah, we're talking about this.
Yep, it's
That's amazing.
brainy.
Yeah.
Shining without a clutch.
It's brainy, because don't sue me, please.
That's fair.
Yeah, just revert. You put the R and the A back, switch them back. It's fine. It's fucking Barney.
I absolutely love that is legit in there.
Holy shit.
And I want to point out because for my notes, I've been putting little headers.
Little headers.
What's the header say?
All you
Need is love. I love you. That's the song he sang
And that's
as he
the quote
walked
out of
into
the
the
book.
abyss.
Yeah.
That is
It's
amazing.
the Barney song. Yep.
Wow. You just blew my mind on that one.
Good lord.
That's so great. Because, it's a joke that, of course, we were going to make. And you notice that I didn't the whole time.
You're waiting.
Oh, you were waiting.
Because,
for that.
oh, no, this isn't a joke.
Wow.
I don't have to make the joke.
So it's not one big pile of shit.
Huh?
Jurassic Park, come on now.
Oh. Man, come on. It's not like I've watched that movie in 10 years.
All right.
How can you forget that one line though?
Because I don't like
Forgotten many a
dinosaurs.
Fine. But real quick, I do want to talk about the Gumagon, and I'm not going to go into it crazy, but they don't go through the different phases of the sun in the day.
Yeah, they got a different auspice system.
Yeah, it's through the seasons.
Yep.
That was weird. I don't know why they do it separately compared to anyone else, but whatever.
Because
There's a stream that wants to be different.
So we can't have nice things. They can't just be uniform. Remember the Ananasi structure?
Barely.
Oh, my
No,
goodness.
actually, no, I
that
don't
structure
remember
was
it.
hard.
It was too ridiculous.
It was quite the web of bullshit.
Touche.
That was perfect.
Touche.
Thank you. But so, they have, it's like the Mokole. They gotta be different. So the Mokole, to put them in a game, I mean, obviously, they love the Garu like super hard. Like they're really good friends.
It's just like every other Pharaoh.
Right.
I mean, they have
Every
Barney
other
loving you.
Pate.
It's nice.
They have Barney loving you, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's what he's all about in torture and the atrocity realm. But, so obviously because of this relationship, you're not going to want to put, this is not going to be a friendship story.
No.
It's that they're going to meet and they're going to hug and they're going to go on adventures and ride roller coasters. That's going to be a bad time. But, the idea of seeking out or having to seek one out to try to get a hold of some secret knowledge for the greater good of Gaia, and having to convince the Mokole, I mean, just not to eat you for step one.
First step, convince him not to eat you. Step 2, convince him you're not going to kill him.
Well, I don't think he's worried about that.
No.
If you're showing up with a pack.
I don't think he's worried about
Still
that.
not worried. Guys are built like Mack trucks.
They're one of the breeds that I don't believe is going to blink an eye. I think there's a little actually in in my section that I was covering. How they have the little narratives there, and it's talking about the one, like there's the guy that just woke up or whatever. I'm super Cliff's notes here.
Sure.
And he's in like his his little sidekick who's been up. He's like, oh no, the Talons are coming, and the old guy's like, what? It's like the Talons. It's a type of the wolves. It's the dingoes. They're gonna come here and kill us. And the old guy's like, they ain't doing shit. Shut up. And just goes back to what he's doing. I mean, it's just a little blurb, but I mean, I feel that's the thing. They're not. No, they're not. There's going to be 5 of them. I'm going to switch to Krynos, breathe fire on them, and then stomp once. And I'm going to pick like fangs out between my toes for the next month. That's what's going to happen. Shut up.
He's going to hear him go, oh, it's Godzilla.
I just don't see, I don't see the Mokole being very afraid of like a pack of Garu.
All right. How about you, Cason? How would you incorporate this into a modern time Garu game?
You go one of 2 routes. One, if you want them as either adversaries or obstacles, remember that they're dragons. They are the dragon kings. They are the arrogant, greedy, self-absorbed. Flatter them. Flatter the hell out of them. I mean, take from literature, Bilbo outwitted Smaug. Just because you're big and scary doesn't mean you're invincible.
That's very true.
And if you want to go the other route where you actually want to play as perhaps allies, set your game in Africa. The Ahadi would be the way to go there. Unless you want to go play through the work of finding Mokole that would be at least neutral, if not non-hostile, and then building up relationships there, in India or Australia. But the Ahadi kind of has that sort of tailor-made for cross-Bara shenanigans.
Yeah, I see it that way.
Here's one. All right. We move away from, obviously, the East, the Hengyokai area, move away from the Ahadi. But, you did frame it somewhere else. But what if it's a younger Mokole who has gotten hip to the fact that there's something wonky with the Nemesis, that there's knowledge that's being withheld, that's being hidden, that's being manipulated, it's suspicious, and that could lead to a brief alliance with a pack of Garu, where they go try to uncover again the reason, this hidden knowledge, and again unveil, start to lift the veil on this cover up, this barrier between the Savage Age and Apocalypse. I mean, if you're going to play a story like that, right? If you're going to go with that the Savage Age stuff happened and then this big secret and the cover up, it seems to me like you're going to need a Mokole.
Oh, for sure.
Right, and your idea plays in really well with the themes of the World of Darkness of the young people rising up and knowing what's going on, or being more willing to explore the old histories that all of the elders and the adults are locked into and aren't willing to let go of.
See, there we go. So thank you for that. Make, you know what? We're forgiven for the 2 scoops thing.
All right.
We're good again. All right.
Nice.
Well done. Well done.
That's nice. But yeah, I mean that can be that. I mean that's for like an allied thing. That's a good positive use for the Mokole. I like that idea. I like the fact that that they astral project themselves into the deep umbra, and that
was cool.
And they find these dream realms. And even how it works to where how difficult it is that they can enter dreams or in memories, rather, kind of like the battleground.
Oh yeah.
They find these dream realms, and it's just like they'll be like caves or like floating spheres, which I kind of dig. I like that idea of these like weirdo floating spheres that's a memory, and they can slip into and fuck with.
Change if necessary.
With temporarily, theoretically. Like the force it would need to change that memory, to change reality around that memory. Is Herculean, and then does it stay that way? Does time eventually right itself? And I think that's the better way to do it.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But, I like that idea. And so you look at that idea, right, where you are hunting, you're literally going through the deep umbra to hunt down these hidden caches of memory that were supposed to never be found.
And those are your
and
Dragon Kings, and those are your...
Yeah, and to dig in there and to find out about, like, the kindness. And to find the secrets of the wonder work, and in whatever other secrets have led to, again,
the Savage Age.
Yes.
God, I love that tie-in.
I don't know what it is, and I don't think it's the wonder work or the kindness. I think there's just something worse.
There's a hell of a couple chronicles right there.
Yeah. I love the idea of it being something worse. And I don't even know whose fault it is per se. But certainly the Mokole are the bad guys in that scenario. Just maybe not the only ones. Because what's so bad that you have to, quote, rewrite history to make sure no one finds out? I don't even know if you can answer that question.
And maybe you don't.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's too big.
You
Maybe
leave
it's a
that as the
question
cliffhanger every time.
I was going to say, the question just goes on forever. There's never an answer.
Like the secret to life.
Well, David Lynch never intended to reveal who killed Laura Palmer. So, I don't know. What does Twin Peaks look like if they don't solve that mystery? We know what it looked like when they did. It got canceled. So.
Cason, I hope you're taking notes.
Yep, I am.
I hope you've seen Twin Peaks.
Every night.
Oh, boy.
I'll plead the fifth on that one.
I don't blame you on that. That was a trick.
How about you, Cason? Any kind of final thoughts, I guess, on this?
On a second or, not second, on a X number reread of all of this, I've learned to appreciate them more, especially writing for the Savage Age and trying to bridge the gap. Shattered Dreams, for all of its warts, I actually did kind of like that chapter on the Dragon Kings, because it did make them more than just this, it was an idyllic time and everyone lived happily ever after, and then this big rock crashed into the earth and everything sucked. It made some conflict there that I think could easily be utilized by tables. But yeah, I've learned to appreciate them more, but for the most part, they're still not someone I would probably play on a regular basis.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that way. The things I don't like about them, I still don't like about them, but there's plenty of meat there.
Yeah, like I said, I came in this knowing that that's not my favorite thing, and I think my biggest problem is the dreaming of the different thousands combinations.
Really,
of
the only thing you're hung up on.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem.
Because there is a lot of meat. I enjoyed reading about them. They got a lot of cool.
There's cool hooks in there.
There's a lot of really good hooks.
There's some maybe needless complication, I think, in certain aspects.
Yes.
I think that's just going to be true
wherever we go
across the board.
Yeah.
Because they need to make them different from the Garu, but also interesting and complicated. So it's
put enough meat there for storytellers to explore.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, but
yeah, you're right. That's the only. It's not the only thing, but it's the biggest thing I'm caught up on. I'm not saying I'm Team Mokole now, but I'm not saying I hate them.
He hasn't tried to flip the table.
This is true.
That's saying something. Just throwing that out.
You got actually pretty hard, so.
It was worth it, though. It was good information.
It was great information.
Yep, that's about our time. So first and foremost, Cason, thanks so much for joining us again.
Hey, thanks for having me. Anytime.
Yes, you are welcome anytime. We hope to have you back soon. We're going to be talking a lot more Farah, which means, it's always nice to have an extra hand. You're always welcome here, your pal. And hey, I'm sure we can sneak some Savage Age stuff in there as well.
If you don't try, I definitely will.
See, there you go. Speaking of, what are you working on right now? You chill for a minute.
I am still working on the player's guide. It's about 70,000 words now.
Holy shit!
Wow, that has expanded a lot since the last time you were on.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was the original remit was to write like 750 words on each of the Farah and what they're like in the Savage Age. And I was like, sure, no problem. Yeah, okay, well, that's not going to happen ever. So part of the book has actually been broken off into another book that will hopefully follow it fairly quickly, called The Survival Guide to the Savage Age. So the player's guide is going to be the Savage Age from the point of view of the Farah, what they're all doing and what their cultures are like and all of that stuff. The survival guide is going to be what is the Savage Age like from the point of view of mortals, of humans. So it's going to tell you, what technology do you have at this period of time and at this period of time? What were the houses like? What did you eat? Was there farming? Did you have boats? Did you have bows and arrows?
See, this sounds like the big book of context, if you will, which is something I think is a great idea. Because, again, we have talked about before, some of the different settings in Werewolf or in the games in general where they're so far removed from our daily lives that we don't have context for the world.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Right. And with the big expansion of the definition of Savage Age into the Bronze Age, I'm going to kind of leave that alone because I think everyone's got a fairly good handle on Egypt and Babylon and the Greeks and things like that. So I'm definitely going to spend more time on the Stone Age than on the Bronze Age.
Yeah, I've been
and then beyond that, there's one beyond that that's still in the planning stage. It's called the Wild Seas. I think it's going to be a build off of or inspired by Blood Dim Tides, but instead of trying to cover everything in the World of Darkness, it's going to be the werewolf direction, point of view. So there's going to be a lot of Rokea. There's going to be a lot of weird tentacly things down there. Just
sounds like my ex-girlfriend.
Another setting book.
He didn't even laugh at that.
No, he didn't.
I didn't even hear it.
Good.
You said weird tentacly things down there.
That's it. Sounds like my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, damn.
Oh, boy.
Indeed.
I am super excited for what's coming out. That's
a really cool shit.
So Core just came out. Rapax is, like I said, it's in art direction, so that will probably be out before the player's guide, because I have to finish up a little bit of writing on the player's guide and then go back through and make sure everything agrees with itself, because we don't do the unreliable narrator nonsense.
Which is nice.
So there has to be internal consistency to all of it. But yeah, you'll get anthropological things, or, what's the culture like? How do they view the Umbra? What they think of their territories? What do they do during the War of Rage? And then character creation stuff too.
Well, excellent. And we'll be on the lookout for those as they come. And certainly we'll hear more about them as we get closer, as they release. Because we ain't done talking about the Savage Age.
oh god, no.
Of course not.
So, but again, that is our time. And again, Cason, I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
I'm excited to have you back on. And that's about it. So on behalf of everyone here at Scratch Wolf Studio, myself, Daniel Tyson, Tommy Dixon, and of course our good friend Cason Snow, we want to say thank you for your listening, for your support. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep your claws sharp and your head in a swivel. We'll see you. Let's toss some boomerangs around and punch some koalas.